Elvis Stoico, I did it.
Perfect.
Okay, but I can't. There you are. That's the face I'm looking for. So you know what? I'm excited to be able to talk to you about this great show that we're all going to be involved in on Wednesday in Peterborough. How about you tell me a little bit about it?
Oh, well, this is our third year, Rock the Ice 3. The first year we did one show like we're doing this year. Last year we did a bit of a tour. I think we did 4 or 5 shows around Ontario. And this year we went back to doing one again. It's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. Daniel Weiss, who's my partner in this, they do all the logistics and stuff. I just sort of use my face, skate, help out with promotion. Even just that is a lot of work. So we figured we would just scale it back down to the one show in Peterborough, where the town has been amazing. Sue Warrington, who runs the arena in Peterborough, it's been fantastic. So we're just glad to be back. Each year we basically try to keep the energy of the same concept. People always ask, Rock the Ice, is it rock and roll? Like, is it strictly rock and roll? Rock the Ice is not about just rock and roll. It's about rocking the ice and doing something different. What's great about the show is that, this year we have some new faces from that we didn't have in the show before, but we have people that I think the skating fans would be familiar with Kurt Browning, Joanie Rochette, Jamie and David, of course myself, and many other skaters that are also from Europe that people don't get a chance to see a lot. Acrobats, people with different types of skills instead of just champions, but people that have different skills that never get a chance to maybe showcase them at the Olympic level, but on a show level, exhibition level, they are absolutely fantastic entertainment plus, and we're really excited to be back.
Well, and I'm pretty excited about getting to rock the ice myself as the MC. It's a great opportunity for me, and I am really looking forward to it. So let me ask you a quick question. Taking you back to when you were a wee little kid, what was your very first show experience? Tell me about your first exhibition or one of your first exhibitions and what it was like.
Well, my very first show exhibition actually was usually what we have, the club carnivals, and it was in Newmarket. And I was in the club carnival, and I believe I was playing puppy dog. I was in a group of guys, and we were puppy dogs, and that's what I remember my very first show experience. Each year later on after that, I was still in group numbers. Then eventually, I started doing like little show exhibitions here and there in local clubs. But it's all started with the carnival and local carnivals, which I still do sometimes do those shows, and it always reminds me of when I started, when I see the little kids dressing up in their group costumes and things like that. So that's sort of where it starts and how you get used to being in front of the audience.
I was a crocus. I just want you to know that in a group of other little flowers. I don't think we moved very far, and I was sort of like a cute little chubby crocus. And I remember seeing the soloist, and I'm sure it's the same for all little skaters. I thought she was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. I think she was a daisy, and she was probably about 12.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there were lots of little kids looking up to you at the same time. So moving forward to like this kind of a show, I mean, it's very professional. Tell me what the difference is in terms of the experience of little Elvis versus grown-up Elvis and getting ready for a show. Is it the same thing?
Back when when I was a little kid, I mean, it was just exciting to get out there. Some kids get a little bit nervous and scared. They'll start crying, and I don't want to be here. For me, I just enjoyed being out there and having the experience of something new and exciting. As you grow into yourself and as you become a solo skater and the preparation, you understand your body more and the technical aspects and things grow and so forth, you learn how to prepare basically. So it's not like just throwing on your skates, going out there and skating. There's a whole preparation that goes into it. But I mean, I still, you always get the nervous. I don't really get nervous, but I get the excited energy. It's I call it the preparation energy used to perform. And I'm always happy when it's there, because when it's not there, it means I'm really, really tired. But most of the time, 99% of the time, it's there because it's that extra jolt of energy that gets you to perform. And I always tend to skate up. Very rare that I skate down. So if my average is in the middle, I usually tend to skate up, which is good because that's sort of the that extra little boost that you need to perform and skate well for the audience.
So when you're in a show situation, and everybody's a former competitive skater, obviously, and even acrobats had to at one point have been very high level skaters. What is that camaraderie of a show? How is that different from, let's say, the camaraderie that lots of competitors talk about in the dressing room?
Oh, it's very different in regards to even in a competition setting versus a show setting. Competition setting, during practice and stuff, they're a little more relaxed, but than the competition time. But people are uptight in competition week. Until they're done competing, everyone is like stressed out, and you never really get a chance to fully enjoy it. I think the enjoyment point is about halfway through your program. If you're skating well, you start to enjoy it a bit more. A long or a short program, you're doing good. In a show aspect, the chemistry is completely different. With new faces you get to meet all the time from. You never know where they're going to be coming from, whether it be China or Europe or Japan, the States, Canada, and you come together for a show. You meet new faces all the time, and you get a chance to watch the other skaters or performers do what they do and really appreciate what they're doing because you're not worried about competition. So you get a chance to appreciate skating a little bit more. Until you're done competition, and like the men are usually done near the beginning, you get a chance to see maybe the dance or the ladies after. But during the competition, watching, you kind of watch, you can kind of appreciate, but you can't really let go fully because you're constantly focused on your task. The show is always great that way. Everyone shares their knowledge and talks. We always talk about stories. I mean, even with Kurt, we just did a show in December, and we're talking about old stories about us competing together, and it's great. We have a lot of great, lot of memories that we shared, and which makes us who we are, and we can share those to other people, and they have those experiences on their own in the way they've become maybe not the world champion, but the way they've become great in their sport because of the new skills or different skills that they've contributed and made something different.
Okay, so here's my last question. I asked world champion Patrick Chan this question, and I want to ask you. When you're skating and when you can see the audience, because obviously if it's a total blackout and you're in spotlight, it's very difficult to see out of that spotlight. But when you can see the audience, when you were competing and in doing shows, do you ever catch the eyes of the people that are looking at you, or do you sort of glaze over the crowd? I mean, what happens to you?
Depending on how fast I'm going by, but I always try to have eye contact, always. And what I'll do is, if I'm back about maybe 10 or 15 feet from the boards, and I do happen to get, depending on the lighting, and I do see some people, I usually pick one person. Because usually when I pick one person in the center, everybody around that area, about maybe 10 or 15 people around that big circle, it looks like I'm looking at them. So I pick the one person, but I take in everyone. So also, too, if I do a scan and I'm standing and I'm trying to take in people on that side and get a reaction or pull them in, I do a scan, but I look at everyone's eyes and I make sure that I send my energy out. Because it's not so much just being able to look at someone. It's about sending that energy out instead of, because there's some skaters you see, they get really shy and they kind of stay there for a moment and they're almost afraid to kind of like catch an eye of the audience. And then they just want to be busy and then they go on. So they don't send that interaction, and that takes years of experience to be able to be completely open and just stand there and then just take the people in. And I remember practicing, I used to practice that when I worked with Ushi a long time ago, to be able to take in those moments. And then I was able to use those moments even in competition without having to worry, because especially in competition, you almost feel naked in competition opposed to shows because you can see everything and everyone. Everything is like a spotlight on everything. Where in a show, you don't see the audience as much unless you go right to the boards. But it's really about energy, and the eye contact is number one, but the energy you send out to be able to stay there and sustain that moment without being shy and have the confidence to say, hey, I'm here. I want to show what I can do. Please enjoy this. Come and skate with me.
All right, Peterborough, you've heard it from the man, Elvis Stoico. He's ready to interact and to stare back at you, so make sure you come to the show on Wednesday. Thanks very much for talking to me, Elvis.
Thank you.
Elvis Stoico, I did it.
Perfect.
Okay, but I can't. There you are. That's the face I'm looking for. So you